sorry I cut the music off like that. It's kind of like, I wish there was a little bit more of a way for me to continue the music. How are you? Welcome to Big Fat Panda show number 72. Somebody very special is here with me today. I think you probably know who he is. If you don't, you've been under a rock. Do you guys know Dreamfinder, Figment, Dreamfinder? I'm an 80s guy, so I remember the old Journey into Imagination when it was an amazing ride. There's actually been, I think, 3 iterations of it. There might be 4. I don't know if he'll even correct me on this. They got sequential. Actually, the one after the real one was probably the worst in my opinion. Let me go to these comments here right quick and say hi. Hi Don, hi Robe, hi Michael Knox, Judith, Michael Gopfrich, who I have to have coffee with. I'm sorry. Disney Dreamer. So yeah, the second ride through of this attraction was atrocious. I don't know what they did. I understand if you're not getting people on the ride, you got to do something. But it was devoid of imagination. Then they tried again. I don't know if that's the one we got now. The one we got now is okay. I still don't get it at all. I try to believe. I'll even mention it to Ron. When you go into the eye chart room, I keep thinking, it must be broke every time I'm in this room. Something's coming down from the... Nope, it's the same. It's the same thing I've seen all the time. Anyhow, just to give you a little... Hey, Mary Wells. Mary Wells is her name, so I go, it's 8 o'clock and all's wells. Let me go to this little clip to remind you. This is from 1984. This, to me, is Epcot's really good heyday.
Hello there, I'm the Dreamfinder, and my little purple friend here is a figment of my imagination.
Figment, for short.
You know, we've traveled all over the world collecting the stuff dreams are made of.
And you wouldn't believe all the dreams floating around out there during Christmas.
Oh, yeah, so many of them. You see, we fly through the air in my wonderful dream-catching machine, gathering sunbeams, rainbows, feathers, anything that sparks the imagination. And these last few weeks, we've been collecting the wonderful Christmas wishes our guests here at Epcot Center have been dreaming. And we store these marvelous ideas right here in the dream port.
Can we see them, Dreamfinder?
Well, I don't know, Figment.
It is Christmas.
Well, why not? Let's see now. Where did I put those Christmas dreams?
That's just... I love that. So without further ado, we'll bring him into the conversation here. He looks slightly different than 1984. I don't know. I can't tell any difference. And, hello, Ron.
Hello. No, that's not me. That's me. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, I trimmed my beard for the occasion.
You did. You are such a great performer. Thank you again for being here. And he's
My
an
pleasure.
all-around good guy who taught me what the word mensch meant that I did not know.
You're the living embodiment, my friend.
So thank you very much. Okay, so I don't know what your perception is now. I'll get into that. But back then, when you did that, do you remember knowing that was a special time and a special moment, or was it just a job? For real, like, do you remember what you thought at that time? Not what you know now.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was the most wonderful thing in the world.
Okay.
All my life, I dreamt of being working for Disney as a performer, and I had my dream come true. I was working at the Golden Horseshoe at Disneyland, understudying Wally Bogue, and Wally retired, and I didn't get the job. And just about this time, I attended a seminar Tony Baxter was giving on careers in Imagineering, and he was talking about the project he was working on at the time, because back then, the Imagineers could talk about what they were working on because they didn't know us, who tell everything to everybody all the time. So he was talking about Imagination Pavilion. And he held up a picture of Dreamfinder and Figment and said, these are going to be the only Disney characters at Epcot. They're not going to be no Mickey Mouse, no Goofy, just these guys. And I went, oh my goodness, it's the Mickey Mouse of Epcot. So I knew exactly what it meant to be a Dreamfinder. And I took one look at that and I said, that's the job for me. That's what I want to do. And I'd spent my whole life getting ready for that. So I walked into Sonny Anderson, who was the head of talent booking. I walked into his office and said, I saw this character. You're going to have him walking around? He said, yeah. I said, I want to do it. And he knew me. If I'd been in theme parks for 12 years at that point and done all sorts of characters for Universal and Disney and Magic Mountain. And he had just handed me the job right then and there. I wound up doing part of the voice in the ride. And I had 5 years as Dreamfinder, and it was just glorious. And I cherished every moment.
Did you know ahead of time there would be an interactive other thing to do without disrespectfully giving it away? Like, did you know there was a Figment that you would be controlling also?
Yes. Well, the first time I seen the character was a picture of the prototype Figment puppet with Joe Hudgens, who was a member of the Barbershop Quartet, the Dapper Dans, and he had done the character for the groundbreaking and some publicity pictures. And so I saw Dreamfinder, I saw the dragon. I could surmise that the Dreamfinder had a false arm, real arm was inside operating the dragon. And I'd done some puppetry when I was a kid. I'd been a ventriloquist when I was a child. And nobody was there to teach me how to do it. I had to retrain myself all over and learn specifically how to make that particular puppet, because it was not a simple thing to do to bring him to life. But no.
It seems pretty rigid.
He was when we started. Okay. Yeah. Very, very.
But even in that clip we saw, if I watch you and look at the movements of the puppet, it feels very separate for me. It does. Meaning you are totally not, that was whatever you did worked, because the puppet was looking around and doing things. You would look at him every now and then, but it was definitely a separate being. It didn't feel like you were planning the movements of what you were going to do. So
that was the first job that I took on there with this. I realized that I wanted this character to look like two separate minds, two separate creatures walking around together. I wanted that. There's a thing in theater. There's the long distance shot, the medium shot, and the close up. When people saw me from a distance, I wanted them to see two separate creatures interacting. And then when they got one on one with us, I wanted to be able to. I could hold two conversations at the same time. Figment could react to what was going on over here while I was talking to people over here. And I learned how to play that to involve the guests and get them to play along with me. That took quite a bit of practice.
I want to ask you something from the book, but let me show the book first. I am not a big reader. This book was on Amazon. I think I read it in 4 hours. It was that interesting. And I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not just saying that because he's here. It really was that interesting. It was a lot of inside information, thought processes, what he went through, and a lot of good nostalgia is in this book. So one of the things I want to ask you now in this book, and I think you'll remember, I don't know if you told this to me personally or it was in the book. It all gets jumbled into one thing. Figment seeing Magic Kingdom for the first time, and that it wasn't like a planned thing. You thought, wait, he's never been here before.
Yeah. We do every year at Christmas. Back then we just had Epcot and we had the Magic Kingdom. And so on Christmas Eve, or right thereabouts, it was the company policy they would close both parks at 6 p.m. And all of the employees from Epcot would go over to the Magic Kingdom, and they'd have a big Christmas party just for the employees and their significant others. And there'd be punch and hot chocolate and cookies and shows, and they would do Fantasy on Parade through the Magic Kingdom. And the first year I was there as Dreamfinder, I was off duty from Dreamfinder, and there was the parade, and it occurred to me that half the people here work at Epcot. They don't work at the Magic Kingdom, and there's nothing in this parade from Epcot. It's all Magic Kingdom characters. So I went to my boss after the parade, and I said, listen, I wonder if we could put Dreamfinder and Figment in this parade. So the following year, they put me on the teddy bear float. It was the Toy Factory float had what they call a teddy bear chair. It was a chair that was on a hoist in front of the float. It moved up and down, and it moved from side to side.
I think Goofy is usually on that one nowadays, if that's the same one. Is that the same one nowadays with Goofy? Okay.
Same one. So they got me up on a ladder, and I climbed up on this thing, and I sat down with Figment. And, of course, with me on it, it didn't move up and down. It just moved very slowly from side to side. So we're rolling into the Magic Kingdom to start the parade, and it occurred to me at that moment, Figment had never seen the Magic Kingdom. And I thought, well, there's my thing to play right there, is showing him the Magic Kingdom. So he was amazed at everything, and as he used to do, and when he saw anything that scared him or overwhelmed him, he would turn and bury his head, and I'd have to pry him out, come on, look over here. And then we were waving at all the people and stuff like that. And so I played that the whole trip through Magic Kingdom. It was just a joy.
Do you remember the quote? It's either from the book or you told it to me about if you didn't believe.
If I didn't believe in the dragon, nobody was going to believe in the dragon.
I think that rings true in everything that you did and why it was so magical to us, and why maybe in years past when we met another Dreamfinder, we might have been a little underwhelmed perhaps, because you did do it so good. Do you remember how many iterations of that ride there were?
Yeah, there are three.
There was three. Okay.
There was the one with me and Figment. Then there was the one
best.
or Dreamfinder, which that was a question of Kodak. That was Kodak's thing. Combination of Kodak's thing, and also there was an executive at Disney, rather high up, who wasn't very fond of Figment. But after they they signed a contract for 10 years. Now, after 10 years, the Rise is supposed to get an influx of cash from the sponsors, and that's supposed to pay off doing a refurbish, an update on the ride. Well, we ran from 83 to 98, and they hadn't updated the ride, and it was starting to show its age. And so Kodak wasn't doing that well because film was going out the window and digital film was coming in. So they didn't have the money they might have wanted. So their sponsorship eventually went, and the ride we got was kind of a pale shell of the original. And then a lot of people complained and whined and stamped their feet. So they went and they got the old Figment robots, and they cleaned them up and they stuck them in the new ride. And the problem was not having the old Figments there, but the new writing. When you're writing for a character like Figment, see, when the original Dreamfinder and Figment were like that, and there was the tremendous love and mutual respect. But now when he showed up on the new ride, the guy goes, not you, you're not supposed to be here. When you treat the character like a pest, it comes off like a pest.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Michelle Atwood, my friend at the Main Street Mouse, she doesn't like Figment, and we've talked about why. She has two children that she raised, two boys, and she feels that he's a child, a petulant child that needs a timeout. That's what she said. I think maybe they made him that way for her years, and I got him in the beginning at the good years. So
the genius of Tony Baxter when he created these two characters was he realized that they needed to be like a family. There needed to be a feeling of support. There was a whole right brain, left brain thing going on. Figment was like a 9-year-old child at his birthday party, and everything was very exciting and always wanted to create. And Dreamfinder was there to support that. See, and when you saw that relationship, you came to identify with Figment. So at the end of the ride, when Figment was standing in the middle of that room with all the films of all the things he could do with his life, you identified. You realized, oh my goodness, this is me. I could be anything I want to be in my life, and that was the message of the ride.
Yeah, it was great. Do you think there's hope for it in the future that somebody will do the right thing? I really hope so.
There's hope. There's always hope. You know, the Imagineering, they're always coming up with wonderful, wonderful ideas, and then they don't quite happen for financial reasons or whatever. Every time I see them buy a new IP, I imagine seeing Imagination getting shoved down the list. So we got the Muppets. We got to do something with the Muppets. Oh no, we got Marvel now. We got to do something with the Marvel. And so everything keeps piling up on top of that. The latest rumor I've heard, and I've heard a lot of rumors, is that sometime in 2025, they're supposed to attack Imagination, probably doing something with Inside Out, which I think could be great.
That's starting to go away now. I'm starting to hear Muppets and back to an original Dreamfinder thing.
Okay, I'm game.
Who knows?
It's a question of what they do with it. You know,
it definitely needs.
If you ever see the Figment comic books,
yes,
Jim Zub got it. He captured the original ride, the relationship between the characters. Of course, he talked to Tony Baxter and a lot of the Imagineers, and he had the freedom of being an entirely different medium. So he got it. So I think there's always hope.
I feel like Disney knows our love for the characters because they're constantly releasing, if it's a nostalgic T-shirt or a Funko Pop or
merchandise people. They know our love for the character. Right. They have the receipts to prove it.
Right, and if they see that stuff selling, stop looking to other IPs. Continue what we love. Yeah, I know some people saying, like Jimmy Horner here saying, I love the Muppets. Yeah, but that ride, I don't know, Imagination Pavilion, I think they could do. My wish for it, which probably the gods don't hear, would be to do something like they did with Mystic Manor in Hong Kong and do an original Dreamfinder Figment attraction with that technology. I think it would be just incredible.
You want to hear my idea?
Yeah.
Okay. The first ride, we flew alongside the Dreamfinder, the dream catching machine. He was collecting sparks of imagination, and he took those sparks and he used them to create new things. Okay. You know the Journey to the Center of the Earth attraction?
Yes.
Yes. And you're in this bus, and everybody's sitting by a door. Imagine you're sitting in this bus, and everybody's got a gun or a collection device, rather like the guns from Midway Mania. And you're flying through the air, and there are all these things appearing around you, and you're capturing them with your gun, and then you fly. You're flying the dream catching machine. See, last time you're watching him. Now you're flying the dream catching machine, and now you're going to go through the realm of literature, and there are things there that you can shoot with the sparks you've collected, and create new things. Same message, same moral, same inspiring message, but putting you in the driver's seat.
And what I love about that is, in the beginning of this, we're always used to shooting something. With technology now, with projection and light, you can actually suck something up into your port. That's great. Yeah, okay. Petition to have Ron join WDI. I agree. Oh, Don, how did I know Don is old enough that he could have met you, so he should have met you. But yeah, that really would be amazing. I agree. Okay, maybe I just got to keep saying it, and eventually they will hear us all. So just to bring up also, you were part of a movie done by Benjamin Lancaster from The Further Adventures of Walt's Frozen Head, which I also mistakenly believe there must have been a part 1, because this was The Further Adventures, which confused some people. They were looking for part 1, and they refused to watch part 2 until they saw part 1.
Really? Oh dear.
That was one of the. I think that was something that I'm hearing from people that I thought myself. You were brought in late into this to play Walt, and looking at you right now, I say, yeah, it could be done, but I don't realize until I see it how great it was done. So let me just show a little clip from, and you can get this for free. This is on YouTube right now, the whole movie, The Further Adventures of Walt's Frozen Head. Let me just show you a clip from this, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
8 o'clock, Walt.
Morning, boys. Morning, Barbara. You're not Barbara.
No, sir. Timothy Hoyer, VP of New Interactive.
Barbara went to Paramount, actually, last November.
That's a shame.
Walt, I've got some issues from the second quarter that I specifically wanted you to take a look at. The VOD platform.
How's my part, James?
Attendance has been increasing pretty steady, but gas prices are on the rise.
I'm sorry, Walt. This is pretty important. Could we take things in order?
First things first. Go on.
Page 45.
Did you remember what we talked about last year?
Walt, I ran that by the board, and they don't think it's such a good idea.
I'm the head of this company.
I was going to save this until the end of the meeting, but
What's this?
why, it's your park, Walt. You can see everything.
Security cameras?
Not just security cameras. Uses multiple cameras to generate a three-dimensional
It's the
image.
new guest monitoring system. You should see the metrics on this thing. Why, we designed it with you in mind, Walt, and I promise it's just as good as being up there.
No, it's not. I want to leave this room. I want to go up and see my park. Is that a problem? I thought you put a battery in this thing.
We did, but that's just for power failures. Not
This is a $1 billion system, Walt.
I hope you got a receipt. I built all of Disneyland for $17 million. Can you imagine what I could have done with $1 billion?
Epcot.
I love that.
It puts Figment right to sleep.
Now, me and Ron both know Benjamin Lancaster because we were in a audio drama, The Murder in Progress, which is in 5 parts on iTunes right now. That's actually a really good listen. I don't know if Ron, did you listen to it yet?
Not all of it.
Okay, but some of it. Ron plays a computer called AKIP. But going back to The Further Adventures of Walt's Frozen Head, when they told you they wanted you to be Walt, were you immediately, yeah, great, I could do it, or were you like, Walt Disney, that's a tall order? I mean, what was your reaction?
Laughed myself sick. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm lying in bed and I get this email saying, because I seen a trailer for the film. They shot the film, everything except for Walt. And they said, would you be interested in auditioning for the part of Walt Disney? I laughed myself sick. And I've spent my entire life reading everything there was about Walt Disney, and I knew all about the character and stuff like this. But the idea of actually playing in the film, it was kind of like when I saw Dreamfinder, it just fell in my lap. And
So were you confident you could do it, or did you want to tell these people, I don't know?
I was confident that I could do as good a job as most people. I hadn't shaved in a long time. I had quite a beard. It wasn't until I went in the bathroom and shaved off the beard, and I went, oh my God, I look like Walt Disney, which is not surprising because at the time we did it, I was 65 years old, which is how old Walt was when he passed. I didn't study the voice. A lot of people said I did a dead-on impression of his voice. I really didn't. You know what I watched to get the character, because I had a lot of video on Walt anyway, but all I really watched was Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, the final scene with him in her home in England, just for that kind of attitude. I changed a couple things, and he let me change some things in the dialogue. I dropped in. Walt was always using the words "things," and I put in a couple of jokes that Walt would make. But no, it's just I was flying by the seat of my pants.
Benjamin and I had a conversation about, even in your book, you are a creative person that likes to give his opinion. You don't just show up for the part and do it. You'll give your opinion. And Benjamin says that the problem with that is that you're right. You're always right. So
I heard that.
He does. Oh, you did? He does admit that you are always right with your stuff. So I'm sure some people will say, oh, he's a troublemaker. He doesn't want to just take the direction. But you're right with what you're doing. Linda Raymond, what? She shows up now? No. Get out. You can't be here now. I'm kidding.
Let's bring her back up to date. See, a long time ago.
We could do it like, what's his name? Olaf does that at the end of Frozen, or Frozen 2. If we have questions, give them to me now, because we go on a little bit of a delay. If we have questions that we'd like to give Ron. Are you watching what's going on today with everything going on in the parks? Are you sad? Are you... how are you getting along with this whole quarantine?
Well, since I'm retired and I don't get around very much anyway, there hasn't been much change in my own personal status. Most of what I know or see at the parks comes courtesy of Big Fat Panda and Jeff Lang and Martin Smith and all the wonderful people out there who are putting my heart up on the screen every day. So that's how I'm keeping up with most things. Our current situation, I'm a strong believer in the science and being careful and taking it one step at a time. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens when the parks open. The idea of everybody going through the park wearing masks, I'm afraid of how that's going to infect the magic. I think that what's going to happen, I was thinking about this today, is that when it opens, people are going to show up, or they're going to be the people like you who can't possibly stay away and are going to behave themselves immensely because they could not bear to be anywhere else. The people who are going to raise a ruckus or be difficult or something like that, they're going to show up eventually, maybe not the first couple weeks, but they're going to show up, and then it'll be interesting to see how the company handles it. You sent me that link about what they have planned to do for Disney Springs, and it sounds to me like Disney's braced and ready, and as ready as they can be for what nobody really knows is going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not in a rush to get to Disney Springs. Like tomorrow, I don't feel like I need to go there to look at people wearing masks and cover it in any way. If a park opens, I think I'll wear the mask and take the chance because I miss it so much. The Magic Kingdom specifically, I want to look down Main Street and see that there's still a castle and the Haunted Mansion is still running with whatever changes they might make. This is funny. I don't know if you know. Do you know this reference when somebody says, yes, all the Karens will be there?
No, but I can imagine.
For some reason, anybody that puts up a ruckus is a Karen.
Is that the one at the supermarket?
Yeah, well, all of them. They're all Karens now.
Yeah.
So, I feel bad for the real nice Karens that are out there because they are getting the see this lady?
Dave Koenig will have a field day.
Yeah. This could be a Karen. No, I'm kidding, Kim. All right, so what else is going on in your world? I want to show the book again because for those of you that came late, if you don't have this book, Linda, you should get this book. I think on Kindle it's I like the advertisement. On Kindle it's really inexpensive. I think I saw a free audiobook of this.
There's an audiobook. It's 9 hours of me talking.
But why does it show free on Amazon?
It's the thing. If you try Audible.
Okay.
That type of thing. But 9 hours of me talking. If you have trouble sleeping, as I do, it's great for that. Puts you right out. And it's they got the hardcover, they got softcover, they got digital, they got audio and all that stuff. It's all on Amazon. Also, you can go to Bamboo Forest Publishing, my publisher, and you can order an autographed copy. Or if you just show up in Orlando and buy me lunch, I will sit there and autograph one for you right there.
I might have to do that with my copy. I will tell you, when the Tiger King thing happened and all that, all I thought about was you and Major.
Oh,
from the book. I don't know did that pop into your head at all when that stuff came out?
I have not watched Tiger King.
No, don't. It's not good.
Okay.
I just remember thinking about. He has a whole thing in the book with him, and how would I describe what the Major time was for you?
One of my early jobs at Six Flags in California was working at the animal petting farm at Magic Mountain. They had an ad in the paper saying they were looking for an old man of the mountain to tell stories to animal stories while surrounded by affection-trained animals. The affection-trained animal I worked with was a full-grown African lion named Major. He had all of his teeth and all of his claws. He was a Disney film star, as a matter of fact, starred in Napoleon and Samantha with Jodie Foster. And we would spend our days together sitting on the porch of an old house. I never wound up telling stories because all anybody wanted to do was have their picture taken with the lion. But I wound up being caretaker to this wonderful old soul. And that was the summer of 72. And I worked with him and lion cubs and another bizarre experience.
You were able to just go up and pet him and hug him and all that stuff?
First time I saw him, my friend, my boss, Frank Lamping, took me out to this field at Africa USA where they trained all the animals for the movies. And he said, go stand out in the middle of that field. And I go out in the middle of the field, and I'm standing there in this very tall grass. He comes bouncing up in this camper shell. And he opens the back of the camper shell, and there's this massive head. This lion's head comes jumping out of the back of the trunk, walks up to me, and rubs against my leg like a kitten trying to make a friend. And that was Major. He was an affection trained. He'd been captured full grown in the wild, and by a fellow named Stuart Raphael. And Stuart had affection trained him. He loved people. He just loved people. You couldn't mess with him. And like I say, he had all of his teeth and all of his claws.
Did you take to him right away?
What?
Were you scared, or did you take to him right away?
I took to him right away because he took to me right away, so I didn't have a choice.
And you weren't petrified?
Death of animals before that. I was terrified of animals. Okay. But he was just affectionate as hell. And one day, a story I tell in the book is I was working with him halfway through the summer. I was standing in front of him, bent over, and he kind of leaned up and bit me on the butt. And I kind of panicked. I called Frank over. I said, Frank, he just bit me on the butt. He goes, that's a kiss. The next time you meet him, greet him, put your arm in his mouth. And so I would put my forearm in his mouth, and he would chew lightly on my arm. And that was the way we greeted each other from then on. He just loved people. I could have children up there, sit down next to him. If I had every so often to get someone come up with a blind child and say, this child would like to touch the lion. Fine. Major wouldn't move. And you could put their hands on his teeth. He wouldn't move. He'd just lay there and take it. Now, on the other hand, if a grown-up came along and tried messing with his paws or his ears, back of the paw. No claws, just back of the paw.
When you said the next time you meet him, you have to put your arm in his mouth, you said the next time you meet him, you have to bite him in the butt.
No, thank you.
Going back to the other stories with you and Figment, there's one about a little boy who I don't think, he wasn't talking much, and you were able to get something out of him by having Figment not have met a little boy before?
Well, no, that was the way that I found out found the secret to working with Dreamfinder. See, when I first got the job, all anybody wanted to do was take the picture with me and sign autographs. That's all anybody wanted. You know, this is the way that the parents thought back then. You know, the parents thought, well, that guy's kid had his picture taken with a monkey. My kid's going to have their picture taken with a monkey. And so they would shove the kid at me and like that. And if I was going to do this, you know, I'd been doing theme parks at this point for 12 years. I knew I was going to be doing this job for a long time. And I didn't want to be a photo op. That's the one thing I didn't want to do. And I had this wonderful story, this terrific story of the ride, the message of the ride. I had to find a way to bring that to people on a one-to-one basis. So I'm out there working with the kids one day, and this little boy comes walking up, and I just spontaneously acted like I'd never seen a little boy before in my life. And I said, "What are you?" And he said, "I'm Michael." "Oh, hello, Michael. I've never seen, turn around. I've never seen anything like." And from that moment on, I treated the guests as sparks of inspiration. And this way I tricked them into playing with me. Because when you ask a kid, "What are you?" they're not expecting that. It makes them think very seriously about themselves, think objectively about themselves. And I used the stuff like that throughout my 5 years to get people to play with me and play along with the whole imagination spark gathering thing. And that made it possible for me to remain sane and also make an impression on people.
Read these comments. See,
I am amazing, sir. Thank you.
People do pick up what you're putting down. All right, well, it's 8:32. I've got you for the half hour I promised you for. I think we're going to talk about what's going on in the parks, unless they come up with questions. If you guys got questions that you'd like me to, because I could talk to Ron all day. Which, by the way, when I first advertised the show, I put Rob Schneider, and Ron said, "John, they might think you have an SNL person." But if you have questions for Ron, if you have a minute, Ron, let's see what they come.
I'm here. I got nowhere to go.
We have him trapped. I do remember the book was I rose through it. I'm trying to ask him to do another book, but he's like, "I don't know if I've told all the stories already." But I'm sure you haven't. I'm sure there's probably things you could extrapolate on and just make another book.
Yeah, and the statute of limitations it's been out on most of them.
Oh, that's good. You did. Can we talk for a time with Monsters? Because you did work for the Monsters Laugh Floor,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to give anything away. But he was one of the monsters per se. Or
I was one of the original Monsters, the Monsters Incorporated Laugh Floor. I was there for. They brought me in I think it was October of 2006, and I was there for about 2.5 years. It was an amazing job. I kind of thought that by that time the theme parks was going to be over, and I got in there and got to play with that machine, because that machine's just an incredible toy, and was part of the crew. We spent 5 or 6 months working on the machine, prepping the show, and playing with the audiences. And then finally, when we opened, and it was a big success. Everybody said, "Oh, it's going to be a horrible thing." It was a wonderful show, and it still is a wonderful show.
Still is, yeah. It still is. There's a question on there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see
just
it?
come in here late. You missed me out in front of the people. I still perform occasionally. I just did a video thing the other night for a Playwrights Roundtable. And this coming Christmas, I'm going to be in a play, assuming everything's normal, at the Orlando Shakespeare Festival. We're doing a play called The Trial of Ebenezer Scrooge. Charming variation on Christmas Carol. I play the judge. Scrooge is charging Jacob Marley and the ghosts with trespassing, stalking, slander, theft, breaking and entering, the intentional infliction of emotional distress. It's a wonderful play, and it's one of my favorite things I've ever done. So I'm still doing voiceover work, and I'm still around and talking to people like this.
I got another one there for you. This is from a 13-year-old.
Mm-hmm. How does it feel to walk around Disney now that you're a part of the magic and legacy? It's wonderful. Especially occasionally I get recognized. For some reason, I don't know how people know it's me, but occasionally I get wonderful people who come up and talk to me, and I do love it. It may be the fact that I'm covered with Figment merchandise when I go, but still, I love it, and I'm a fan of the fans.
That's awesome. Well, we love knowing you. I can't wait. Is it possible you'll do something else for Disney in the future? Have you shut that door, or you might go back doing something you just never know?
I wrote the book knowing that I probably was going to be burning a few bridges. At the same time, the book was written as a textbook. Most of it, a lot of it was written as a textbook for people who would come after and be writing this stuff, and for ways of trying to make the shows a little better, the scripts a little bit better, and analyze how the shows worked when they worked and didn't when they didn't. So I hope to make an impression on things that way. Sometimes I get little feelers from companies, people saying, "Could you come work for us?" And then nothing ever seems to come of it. I have, as you said, I have a bit of a reputation for being difficult to work with. And the reason for that,
I think that you put input, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. There was an interview with this big Hollywood star years ago. She asked her, "Why do you have a difficult thing for being difficult to work with?" She says, "It's because I've done this long enough that I know what works and what doesn't work, and I can tell when things start to go south." And I'm not going to keep my mouth shut if I see something that needs work. Now, there are a handful of people right now that I am mentoring. That people come to me with ideas or want my input on things, and I'm honored to do that, and I find it very, very rewarding. So yeah, I put my hand in here, I put my hand in there, like the lady said, and who knows? I mean, yeah, I've always got my eyes out for something like that, but I'm not looking in earnest. I'm retired. I got my Social Security, and I'm pretty happy right now.
You recently got married. Well, not recently anymore, but
I recently got engaged.
Oh,
yeah, we're
get married
engaged.
yet? Oh,
No.
I thought that was married a long time ago. Okay,
No.
engaged, still good.
Yeah.
What is your favorite ride at Walt Disney World?
Oh gosh. Well, I haven't been on Rise of the Resistance.
Okay.
I haven't actually ridden on Mickey's Runaway Railway, which I think I'm going to love. So I'm going to have to roll back on Tower of Terror. The state. I love Tower of Terror because that's one I've ridden, and so I can give an intelligent.
I didn't expect you to pick a semi thrill.
Classic?
Well, thrill. I don't know if I consider that classic. When I was a kid, it wasn't there, so that to me.
I don't know. I don't think it's a classic either.
Oh.
It's part of the new generation of rides.
Right, as part of the classic. What do you think?
It would be easier for me to say Haunted Mansion. I love what they updates they've done to the Haunted Mansion. I like California's Pirates of the Caribbean. Growing up, my favorite was Peter Pan. You know, there's so many different kinds of rides and shows that there's a different question for every different answer for every question.
You were really at Disneyland opening day, weren't you?
Yep.
Guys,
First day was open to the public.
Think of this for a second. He was at opening day of Disneyland. Do you remember it? I mean, I don't want to ask you how old you were, but were you at an age where you could recall it?
I was 2.5.
Okay, so
I do remember lunch, which shouldn't surprise anybody. We had lunch in a saloon in Frontierland called the Golden Horseshoe. We had a table in the back of the room. The waitress brought me a sandwich and a Pepsi, and I sat there and ate my lunch. Now, there was something going on the other side of the room, way on the other side of the room. It was very brightly lit and very loud, and I didn't pay it any attention because there was lunch right in front of me. 25 years later to the day, I was the brightly lit, very loud thing going on that stage. I was the comic at the Golden Horseshoe.
That's great. Do you remember? I mean, did your parents keep you there a long time?
Well, we went every year, at least once a year, sometimes twice. My mother remembers looking around opening day and saying, "Oh, this is all very nice. It's a shame that in a year it'll be all dirty and run down."
Okay.
And my parents got split up when I was 10, and so that was time we got to go with my mother and my father. One day when I was performing at the Golden Horseshoe, my mother and my father actually came on the same day, not the same show, mind you, but they both were in the same room on the same 24 hours. So that was an event.
That's great. Well, I thank you so much for your time, sir. I will definitely be talking to you soon and have you back if you will come back. And I still hope you do another book. Once again, I'm showing this book because people will thank me. Go to Amazon, buy this book, buy it on either Kindle or the regular copy. It's nice to have a physical copy for this one. I don't know why. It just is. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, thank you very much, sir. Love you.
Thank you, John. Love you.
I'll talk to you soon. Isn't he he's just the greatest guy. And he really is smart and does know what he's talking about. I think that probably intimidates a lot of people that, if I was doing something creatively with him and I wanted to be the boss on the set, I might be like, okay, when he talks, just shut up and listen because he knows more than you. So it's good. He doesn't let people, he's not going to let people use his talent to just do new things. But I don't know. To me, I like new things, but he knows what he's doing. So did we all see the video? I just released a video today that came, and it was, and Ron, you can leave whenever you want. You can hang out. I don't mind. I just feel bad if you think you have to stay. The video that came out today was something that was shared with us, and a few people actually did get to go to Disney Springs to see what the protocols are for what's going on. Has anybody watched this yet? and seen it there. And yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of a blueprint for the park. So, as Ron said too, you will lose some of the magic, but we don't have a choice right now. I guess if you want some magic, it's better than none, and we look forward to the day when it can be like. Adam, what did you think of it? Did you think that? I don't. Here's my thing. I don't know how much of it is security or medical theater, and how much is really keeping us safe. Somebody today jokingly said the COVID virus is like glitter. And you know how if you're in a room and you have some glitter on you, it just magically gets on everyone else? Even with masks, we are taking them off to eat and drink, and it's just unavoidable all the time. So you're still risking it. There's no doubt. Going out in a crowd of people, you're still risking it. But do we stay without a life until a vaccine for a long time? I don't think so. Linda, what did make you sad specifically? Tell me. I want to know. I understand a whole bunch of things. Yeah, see, I'm with Gene. We have to have baby steps. Otherwise, I just don't know any other choice. I really don't know. Already, I heard that 75% of us will at some point get this virus before the vaccine, no matter what anyway. I know. Mary, I know. I don't consider myself high risk, but I'm a big guy. I sleep with a CPAP. That scares me. I've always had that. Even the skinny people in my family need the CPAP. That scares me to think that maybe, my breathing could be affected by this. And, they were looking like health officials from having health care were there. Okay, good. Mary, I agree with that except for my home. I feel like my home is semi-safe. I spray the boxes as they're coming in, but I do believe that outside is safer. But these people are going into restaurants. I know Matt Dobrovolsky, Darth Vader 92, good friend. He wanted me to go tomorrow with him. You'll like this too. You'll like this too, Ron. He wanted me to go with him to the boathouse, and I was gonna, but I said no because I don't want to be inside at a restaurant, especially after seeing the news scared video where they showed you with a black light what a little bit of virus, how it just spreads through a restaurant. And he's telling me, yeah, but a lot of it is in Miami. You don't have to worry. Somebody from Miami could drive up tomorrow to go to Disney Springs. I don't know how he made it sound like they're in Sweden. So, yes, Lou will be live. I'm sorry, I picked the wrong one. Lou, there was too many things. Lou is going tomorrow. He will be live actually from there. So we should watch Lou. And what is Lisa saying? We can't go from nothing to fully opening with no precautions. Yep, I agree. Yeah, I think this is what we're going to have to do. So I have a niece, Christine, who I believe actually had it. She wasn't able to get tested. The thing that I know is Jimmy Horn had it, and he said he lost all his taste and all his smell. And that's something where no matter what virus you've gotten, I've lost a little bit of my taste and a little bit of my smell. It might be nice to lose all of my taste for a week, would be a great diet. But she lost all of it to the point where she could smell and taste nothing. And I think that might have been a sign that she had it. So now she feels like she probably is safer. Mary says, I saw videos of people and everything looked so nice at Universal. I started reading articles and people said it was so awful and people crying the best. Oh, I didn't get the awful part. I only got the good part, even from Universal, which is striking. I'm sure there's always going to be some people. I saw some people taking their masks off. I agree with this, Ethan. I trust Disney, not so sure about the guests. Listen, it's the human public. We cannot control the human public. We know that. And the truth is, there may be many nice, wonderful people. It's that one person that you're going to notice. That's what you're going to remember is the one Egypt. We can go to City Walk while the others go to Disney Springs. Gene, you're a Disney Springs person. Oh, Walgreens is supposedly offering the antibody test for $10. Lisa, I might think about doing that, although you keep hearing how many false positives or false negatives they have, so you never can be really sure. So, yeah, I know. I have to tell you, I do have a problem. As much as I would like to see Unique View reporting of the opening days. Thank you, Don. I'm not going to go tomorrow. I might go on the 27th. The World of Disney might open. And that, for me, might be a way to get me to go because That's Disney. I need to see Mickey Mouse plushes again. I don't think I can want to go for a third party. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping. A third party, you know, I don't need to go eat at the Boathouse tomorrow. I'd love to. The filet mignon sliders are out of this world. A positive antibody test does not mean you are immune. I think this, yeah. Listen, Kim, I really hope it does eventually. Like, I hope that it's just that the people didn't get it out of their system, the people who got reinfected. I don't know, but it needs to go when you get it, at least. No, Mary, they are going to touch everything. Oh, you're talking about merchandise? They tell you don't buy unless you're going to purchase. That's going to take some parents to be parents and tell the kids you cannot touch anything unless we're purchasing it. I know, easier said than done. I think they're going to limit how packed it is, Linda. I know you're saying it'll be crazy, people touching everything, wear gloves, but I think, you know, Matt, you're on my good side already. But if you get me some filet mignon sliders to go and I just got to pop them in the air fryer, I might do that. No, you don't have to, but that is a good thing. And Matt goes with like 100 other people. I don't know what his problem is. I don't know if this is, can anybody confirm that Disneyland park is opening July 18th? Is that a thing? I don't know if that's just a rumor or if that's correct. If we can find that out, that would be great. We don't like to report anything as fact until Disney says it. So if it's a rumor, we'll tell you it's a rumor. I haven't heard of anything concrete yet. But that would be interesting. Matt would probably know. Matt, do you know if Disneyland is going to reopen on July 18th? Again, it might be true, and I understand it might be true, but until Disney says that anything can change, and I will not say it is true. Okay, that is rumor. I'm hearing from people that it's still a rumor, but nice to hope. Yeah, no more trying on shirts, I guess. Well, you know what they should have? They should have a few like white shirts that are the same size. You have those as the testers. Okay, nothing official yet. All right, I do think it is official, and somebody can correct me on this, that May 27th, World of Disney and a couple of other Disney-owned things are opening in Disney Springs. Yes, soap and water or even hand sanitizer, and don't touch your face. Let me tell you, the not touching your face, I can't do it. I don't know if anybody else can do it. I can't do it. There's times I have an itch. And the more, it's like in school when you can't laugh, you laugh more and you get the giggles. If somebody tells me don't touch my face, I immediately have an itch right here on my eyebrow that I need to get to. Kim, what are you confused at? Travel restrictions. It says if you're from New York or New Jersey, you have to quarantine for 14 days. Is Florida? No, you know who's not following through with that? The people from New York and New Jersey. They can't do that. What are they going to do? Well, we're going to Disney on August 4th, but we're going to get there on July 16th and stay at the Holiday Inn for 14 days in quarantine. It's not going to happen. Okay, the patina stuff is on the 22nd, and the Disney-owned locations, including World of Disney, on the 27th. So I see myself going on the 27th. Thank you, Lisa. Oh, speaking of Lisa, has anybody tried her candles? She's not paying me for this. I mean, maybe I'll get 10% extra off next time. Lisa? Candles. Core memory candles. They are scents that are reminiscent of the park. My gosh. And I don't know if you could see up here in the corner here. I wanted this for Becky, but do you see this? I have to advertise if I'm going to keep a job. MEI Travel, mousefantravel.com, a division of MEItravel.com. But in all seriousness, if I was going to book a trip for the future, just for the way that they've conducted themselves now, I would absolutely, sorry, I'm just pressing buttons here, absolutely go with mousefantravel.com. They were not about profit during this time. They were about taking care of their people. Just great. They were really, it's having an advocate in your corner and you're not paying any more for the thing. I have to put white up there now or get a different kind of a logo. I actually had Scott Atwood send me that logo because of the way it looked. Linda, you did the melts? She's talking about these memory core candles that I'm advertising. I'm sorry. I'm not getting paid for this advertisement, but I should be. She's got Bright Suns candle. Oh my gosh. I never knew that Galaxy's Edge had a smell. Stan, MEI, good stuff, right? I'm not just saying it. I might have a new sponsor in 3 months from now because God knows what happens. So I'm going to keep up with this MEI, but it's true. No, it's true. They're just great. Thank you, Justin, for backing me up on that. We're trying to be open from July. Galaxy's Edge does have it. Mary, she found the smell. I don't know what it is. She told me some lavender and something else and something else. I don't believe that she came up with it on her own. She can tell me she did. I believe that if there is a smell, Lisa from Core Memory Candle got in touch with a cast member, an Imagineer, who said, oh yeah, the smell that we pump in is this, this, and this. And she went home and formulated it and did it because there's no way that she could get it from smell. But it smelled. The minute I smelled it, I was right there looking at the Millennium Falcon. Yes. Winter Lodge? There is a Winter Lodge? No, don't believe it. I believe you created it, but I believe somebody gave you some inside information to get the smell. I can't walk somewhere and go, oh, I know. No. Whatever you put together, it smelled that way. So I still believe you talked to an Imagineer. You know what? I will have Lisa put up the thing. It's called Core, C-O-R-E, Memory Candle. Brett Bennett, he is a troublemaking friend that there is a Disney restroom smell, and I believe that Lisa will get that also. All right, so are we winding down? What are we doing here? Yeah, I mean, I'll stay. If you just want me to stay, ask more questions, give me a topic. Pandas have good noses, though. Yes. Yeah, not good to smell things. Not good to identify. Oh, she does also have, I think, Disney water smell. It's mold and mildew. It is. When you go on the Pirates of the Caribbean, you're smelling mold and mildew. You really are. Oh, see? Look, now she's admitting she got input on some Ocean Flight and Polly. Yeah, somebody gave her input in her sleep on the Galaxy's Edge one. No, the monorail smells aren't that great. Actually, just a little bit of sweating to do it for you. I have to watch myself because we're live. So if you ever see me pause, I usually don't pause too much. But if I do, it's because I was going to say something really inappropriate, and then I stopped myself. The Polly is a good smell. Dave, she's got one. If I could send it to you, I would. I would send it to Kim for all the stuff she sent me. It's called Polynesia. And it really is, it's good. Wow, this just became a Core Memory Candle convention here. Sorry. It's okay, though. Monorail smell like, yeah, sweat, and more sweat. Who said being open for July is funny? I hope it's open for July for you. I really do. Well, who said that was funny? Not a funny. So I found out today what a group of pandas is called. Does anybody know? Because it's crazy what a group of pandas is called. Don't look it up. You have to just know. Do you know? My friend Matt here says, I help make the Disney bathroom smell unofficially. Oh, Matt. My gosh. He's crazy. Okay, so they're called an embarrassment of pandas. Literally. So if you have like a flock of seagulls, whatever, it's an embarrassment. That's the name of it. An embarrassment of pandas. And I know why. Because I can absolutely embarrass myself. David, you reminded me of something. See, David said Panda Peeps. I am in the process of creating a website for Panda Peeps. First of all, I need to get this show to that Tuesdays at 8 o'clock is this show. I got to be consistent and drive that home. So we have a decent amount of people watching. I'm kind of happy with it, but I wish it was more. I just feel like sometimes I talk to myself and it's boring as heck. Yes, I am an embarrassment. Thank you, Matt. But I'm starting a website, pandapeeps.com, and we will have PPPs. Those are Panda Peep points. Just by watching a show, you will get Panda Peep points. I have so many prizes from different places that I have to give away, and I think Panda Peep points are the way to do it. So if I make a little fun website, I'm not taking it too seriously. I realize I'm not famous or anything like that. I'm just going to make a nice little fun website for us where we can do Panda Peeps. So this guy here, Don Nicholson, I'm going to out him for a second. Him and his wife he tells me the other day he can't make lasagna. And I say, why? Why can't you make lasagna, Don? And he says, because I can't find sausage. Now, I'm Italian. I would assume with the last name Nicholson, he's probably not. So This credit for cooking goes down for me. So Don says, Don, why you don't need sausage for lasagna. I've made many a lasagna. You don't use sausage. So just stop. He doesn't need, so now we fight back and forth. He thinks he needs sausage in order to make lasagna. So what am I not answering? Listen, there's a lot. I got to talk to people, look at the comments, click this button, click that button, click over here. There's a lot. So tell me what. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the next show, Friday, Matt and I, Darth Vader 92, Matt Dobrovolsky, we're doing a show on Friday, and we are giving away, or I should say he's giving away, but we are giving away, I'm going to take full credit for this, a child, Yoda child Funko that has the Force. So we're giving that away. How is it that this silly talk has more people than when I have Ron on? It's crazy. Okay, so yeah, Donald wanted sausage. No, listen, he's not getting it in his lasagna. He needs it. Wait, could it? Matt, don't tell me it could be called the bamboo of pandas, because that would be good. But it's not. I looked it up. It's an embarrassment. Yeah, see, Don, no sausage in lasagna. None. Right. Oh, okay, Susan. But Susan, question for you: if you don't have sausage, does that lasagna not get made? That's the problem I have. He didn't make it. Oh, God. I didn't realize. It sounded like we're giving away a child. And technically we are. Who do you think cut my hair, Linda? Who do you think? Someone here at home buzzed my hair. Yes, it's a baby Yoda. You could use ground pork too, but with all that's going on in the pork things right now, let's stay away from the pork, can we? Okay, so we're going to look for Panda Peeps coming, I would say, within 2 or 3 weeks. That'll happen. And very sorry I missed Rob. You mean Ron, Susan. Because I also said Rob Schneider as a goof. He's from Saturday Night Live. As a mix-up, it's Ron Schneider. But you can just watch the replay. It'll be, if you click it later, it'll come through. All right, so guys, thank you so much. Have a great night. Please stay safe. If I do go on the 27th, there'll still be a Tuesday show before the 27th. Thank you, Mary, about the hair. It's just a buzz, and it went just... I like it when it's a little bit longer on top and shorter on the sides. I can't do that. So, thank you again. Look for Panda Peeps. We might do a prize soon. I do love you all, really. I'm glad to be having this time with you. Send me an email. Write to me. You could always write pandathunder@gmail.com if you just want to say hello. I should be able to respond, mostly. Okay, Mary, I'll do that. So, go forth. Create pandemonium, and above all, still give out the panda hugs. I'm not about to say don't give out panda hugs. Until next time, mwah. Thank you, guys.